So it is Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, and I wanted to do a video. This is more of a documentation of the targeting I'm experiencing. And today, I was targeted again by relatives, relatives and their friends, or should I say, their girlfriend and her children. So, before I go into details of the video, let me give a little background history. I am a home health aide. I work in home health care. I have 2 patients. I work with my dad full-time, and I work with my aunt part-time. My intermediate family, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my brother, are the only ones who are not involved in my targeting experience. That being said, relatives on both sides of the family are all involved. So I may work a better job than I was working a year ago at Sunshine Thrift Store before I got let go of, and I may be making more money, but I still get targeted. And I'm only saying that because there is still beliefs out there that if you are working a good job, TIs don't understand, first of all, how you can be working any kind of good job or any kind of job, period, if you're a real TI. And like I said before, your lifestyle, your career, none of that matters when you're a targeted individual. I don't want to give them more power than they have, but at times they will allow certain people, certain TIs, to keep jobs or get jobs and keep them good jobs, but then you're going to be targeted even heavier in other areas of your life. Or if they can incorporate that targeting into your job, your workplace, they'll do that too. But either way it goes, just because you're working what others may consider a good job, that doesn't mean that you're less of a targeted individual. If anything, that means you're no doubt getting targeted in other areas in more extreme ways. So, early this afternoon, late morning, early afternoon, I went over to my aunt's house to do her vitals, check in on her, and see how she was doing. Normally, if she has company over, she'll call me on the down low and let me know, like, so-and-so is here, or if you want, you can wait before you come over, or you can come over right now. She usually lets me know if she has company, but this time I was a little caught off guard by the fact she actually had a full house, and it was not her company, it was actually her son's company. Her oldest son lives with her. He is my cousin, but we don't really get along that well. He does not like my father. He doesn't even like my aunt, which is his mother, and he doesn't consider her as his mother. It's a whole family drama story behind that I'm not going to get into because it's not even really my business. I wasn't even alive then. But anyway, he has a lot of problems with different family members, and including my own family members. And out of all of my extended relatives, he usually will take every opportunity he can to target me, and I know he's doing it for the money because he's living in his mom's house. He doesn't have a job. He's not making much money, and he wants to have his own place. So, ding, 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 there you got motivation to target someone that's your own family member. But, when it comes to money, I have learned it doesn't matter who it is, how long they've known you. They could have known you since birth. They will turn on you for that money. If the price is right, you can forget it. You have no family when the price is right. They'll all turn on you. So I went in there in her house, and I noticed the back door was open. He was sitting there with his ex-girlfriend. I don't know if they're back together or not. Again, it's none of my business. But they were sitting there talking. A little girl was with them. And inside the house, in the living room, he had a full house. There was kids everywhere, like all over the couch, and I was a little caught off guard because it wasn't what I was expecting. And my aunt was on the phone and kind of busy trying to, at the same time, get the TV up and running for these kids. But Again, I just, I try not to think nothing of it. I did my aunt's vitals. I was talking to her for a minute. Then we both got quiet, and that's when it started. Now, my aunt, she does have hearing problems. I will say that. She does have hearing problems. That being said, she is not deaf. She is not deaf. And I know a lot of times when I'm in a position where I'm being targeted and she's with me, I know she hears what's being said towards me. The snarky remarks people make under their breath when they're around me or when they pass by me in public or wherever. I know she hears it, but it's like I've learned from her. It's like she has her own philosophy. She don't see nothing. She don't hear nothing. So don't even ask her. Because if I ask her, like, did you see what that person said? Because they're speaking in the same kind of voice I'm speaking in, loud enough to hear. A lot of times she'll look away and be like, oh, no, I didn't hear nothing. What did they say? Do you know them or something? And, I've just kind of learned, I know she's involved. But I've just kind of learned, I can't depend on her even as a witness, because somebody can say anything towards me and say it loud enough, but she'll always say, well, I didn't hear anything. So in this scenario, I was sitting at the table, and that's when the kids on the couch got started. Now, out of the corner of my eye, I could see a teenage girl sitting in on the recliner. It's like she kept bending forward every few minutes just to look at me. Because there was a counter there, so she couldn't get a direct view of me, so she would literally have to lean forward to look at me. And it's like, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, great, I'm the freak show of the moment. Oh, man, because sometimes, like, people will come around me and just watch me, and try and be stealth about it, but it's like, they think you're just some kind of freak show, and it's like, now that they're in person with you, it's like, they want to watch you to, it's like that kind of thing. So, I noticed that. And then I heard one of the kids say, that's why everybody hates you. I don't know which one that was, because like I said, I could only see the girl out of the corner of my eye. I wasn't about to turn all the way around to see, which kid said what. And I knew it was directed at me. And let me say now, I knew it wasn't V2K. I can tell the difference between when it's V2K and when it's an actual person saying it. Most TIs can, as far as I know. Some people have said, well, everything you hear is just V2K. It's not actual people. That's not true. You can tell when it's V2K and when it's actual people. Trust me. If you can't, you might want to take some time out and, work on yourself a little, because you can tell the difference when it's people and when it's a V2K voice. So that was the first comment made, and I heard a little snicker after that. I ignored it. Then a few minutes later, I heard the teenage girl say, her voice was the closest one to me. I heard her say, that's what you get. And again, nothing new. Now, a little boy, he looked about 5 or 6 years old. He was on the other couch facing me. My aunt was sitting with her back to him and, her back to the rest of the kids. But, there was a cartoon show on TV. A cartoon show. Out of nowhere, this kid starts bouncing up and down on the couch, and he keeps looking at me and looking back to the TV. And then he starts saying, you're a fake actress. You're a fake actress and a bad actress. You're fake. And it was funny. You can tell when kids have been trained like their parents, because they do the same thing. They'll pretend like they're talking about something else, or they'll focus their eyesight on something else, but they're really talking towards you. When you're a TI, you know what I'm saying. Like, it's obvious. They use indirect methods to keep their hands clean, and they train their children to do the same. So it was funny, though, because the other day, the V2K had actually said the same thing, because I was suffering and being, well, not suffering, but I was being heavily targeted yesterday. So by all logic, I should have been miserable, depressed, feeling down and out, but I didn't. I was smiling and laughing, having a good time with my intermediate family, having a good time watching TV in my room. And when you're like that, when you're expected to be suffering, but you're obviously not suffering, the program will always try and figure you out, because to them it doesn't make sense. Like, they're doing everything they can to make you miserable, and instead of being miserable, you're smiling and laughing. And a lot of times they'll try and justify it to themselves, saying, oh, You know, she's just putting on the front. She's being fake. Deep down on the inside, she's miserable, but she knows she's being watched, and she doesn't want to portray that. So she's just putting on this fake demeanor, like everything's just rainbows and puppies or something, when really she's miserable. And the V2K had said that yesterday, and I ignored it because I love it when people try and figure me out. Yes, the V2K is a machine, but guess what? Somebody's programming a machine as human. So I love it when people are trying to figure me out. They expect me to be one way, and I'm the exact opposite, and they don't understand it. So then they try and come up with conclusions in their own mind as to why I'm not reacting this way, why I'm not reacting that way. That's what they did yesterday. And I was just cracking up on the inside because I already knew they were coming to the wrong conclusion, but it's like they will tell themselves anything to try and feel better about themselves. So if they want to believe that I'm putting on a front and that I'm miserable on the inside, go right ahead and believe it. I am not going to argue with you. So that's why it was funny today when that kid started up like, you're a fake actress, you're a bad actress. And it was just funny he said that, because it's like, you know, they will use children to say the very things, you know, that they think about you. They will train their kids to say it too. It was obviously all scripted. You know, it was scripted. The entire situation was scripted. My aunt never has company like that when I'm over there, where she has a house full. You know, my enemies know I don't like being in situations where it's a small environment and a lot of people. They know that. So anything I don't like, anything you don't like, they will, you know, purposely have you put in that situation, because that's what it's about, to try and make you feel miserable and to get a negative response out of you. And it was ironic because it's like the same thing the V2K said yesterday was the same thing this kid is saying today. And, you know, I just kind of glanced at him, and he, you know, he just kind of had this smirk on his face too. And he looked away quick when he realized I had looked at him. And from then on, I just ignored everything that was said. My cousin came in at one point with his girlfriend, and I had my back to her, but I heard her chuckle out of nowhere as she saw shade into the bedroom with my cousin. You know, and I knew the chuckle was meant for me. I just chuckled back, but on the inside, you know. I've gotten to the point where, you know, people want to bark. You know, if they want to be like dogs and bark, let them bark. They're doing what they were programmed to do, but I'm not a dog, so I don't need to bark back. And, you know, it was all indirect methods. Nobody was directly confronting me saying anything. And you have to be careful when it involves children, because they will try to make you look a certain way if you react to that child, especially directly. They'll try and make you look like the worst person in the world. I don't deal with children like that. If a child is being used against me to say and do certain things towards me in a negative way, I don't go after the child. I go after the parent, you know, if I do that. But in this case, it wasn't even worth it, because it's like, I knew it was scripted. It was obvious it was scripted. You know, they were already prepped to say certain things, you know, when I showed up for the day. And my aunt had already been told to pretend like you see nothing, pretend like you hear nothing. If she brings it up to you like, hey, did you hear what that kid just say? Say you didn't hear a word. And, you know, I could tell from her facial expression, she was working diligently to tune out everything that was going on around us, even with what the children were saying. She heard what they were saying, and she knew that this was going to happen when I came over there. That's why she didn't even give me a heads up that she had company, you know, which I said is not like her, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, when I talk about standing up for yourself, like I said, you don't have to bark back at everybody that barks at you. There are times where you need to stand up for yourself, and there are times where you just need to leave it alone, let them bark all they want, because you're bigger and better than that. In this situation, I didn't even have to be aggressive. You know, I didn't get upset. I didn't get angry. I actually thought it was funny on the inside. What I did, I packed up all my stuff back in my backpack. I told my aunt, I said, okay, I will see you a little later today. And she was like, well, I thought you were going to be here with me for a couple of hours today. And I said, no, because you know I do not like small spaces with lots of people around, even if it's just children. You know I don't like that, and you usually give me a heads up when you have company. You didn't. So I'm going to go home. I've done your vitals. I've checked on you. You're doing fine. I'm going to go home, and then later today, I will come back and check in with you. If you still have a house full, I will be in and out. If you don't, I will spend some time with you. But Other than that, no. I'm going home. I don't like those kind of situations. That. It'd be different if you didn't know, but because I've told you. So, that's what I did. I didn't violate any policies of my job because she didn't say, well, I want you to stay here. And if you don't stay here, that's going to be a mark against you. She didn't say that. She said, well, okay, I'll see you when you come back later. If the patient tells you that you have to stay, that's different. But if they tell you, okay, if you want to leave, you can leave and come back later, that's fine. So I didn't even violate any policies of my job. That's why I don't mind talking about it. We have the policy where as long as the patient is in agreement with it and they don't mind you going off somewhere else and doing other things, that's fine, as long as they're doing your vitals and as long as they have your permission. It's different if they don't have your permission, but I had her permission. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you don't even have to aggressively confront what is happening. You could just walk away from disrespect, walk away from abuse. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but when you start to prioritize and you know who you are and you're confident in yourself, you realize I don't need to respond to everything that's being thrown my way, even when it's, they're using children to do it, because you got to be really pathetic on the inside to actually exploit the innocence of children. You're lying to them, telling them one thing about a person, telling them, that's the bad lady, that's the unstable, crazy, dangerous lady, and all that. You're telling these kids all these lies, and you're brainwashing them to think and feel a certain way about that person and to say certain things toward them. You're literally taking advantage of innocence. Like, they call us target individuals bad people that do bad things or that we've done bad things, which is clearly a lie. But it's like, look at what they're doing. Everything they accuse us of doing, they've done themselves, or they're doing it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're exploiting the innocence of children. We've never done that. I don't go around brainwashing children. I don't go around, telling children what to think or how to feel. I don't do that. I don't take advantage of children's innocence. But the program does, and they'll justify it 100 ways that they can and think it's okay. But it's like, you're doing the very thing you accused us of doing. You're doing it. And they know we're innocent. That's the whole thing. They know we're innocent. And then of all things, you go out and do the very thing you accuse us TIs of doing. Okay. So, yeah, I just wanted to document that experience today. And, just a reminder, the program, they will use your relatives and your family members against you when they can and if they can. This isn't the first time, that they've used relatives on both sides of the family, mind you, to target me. It's not the first time. And sometimes the program likes to rub it in, like, see, look what we did. You're all so much in the family and family values, and you love family stuff, but your own family is against you, and we can get them to say and do whatever we want them to say and do against you. So now what? And I'm just sitting back like, okay, so you proved your point. People are, corrupt and motivated by money. They'll sell their own children, all if the price is right. I get it. Next. Next, I get the point. I don't even care anymore. It just is a reflection of their true character and how they really are. And now I know the truth, so it's all good. But yeah, that's been my experience today, and I just wanted to document it, get it on camera. There you go. They still failed in upsetting me and getting me to throw any kind of temper tantrums about what happened. I literally just laughed, and I'm like, that's what they get, because they did all that to try and get me upset and in my feelings, and I'm still just smiling and laughing. Oh, but it's just a front, right? Oh God, gotta laugh. It is hilarious. It really is. It's hilarious.